Good morning folks, this is Naeem Aslam, Chief Market Analyst at AvaTrade, and welcome to our daily fundamental video. What I'm looking at in terms of European markets is that how European traders are picking up the momentum from Wall Street. So let's have a look at what happened on Wall Street. As you can see in the chart, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has erased all of its losses for this year, meaning the Dow Jones is back in positive territory, and all those losses that occurred during the pandemic year, they have been erased. So now, from here onwards, the only challenge which is really left for the Dow Jones Index is to go back and touch its all-time high. And I am speaking of the pre-COVID-19 high that the index formed, because the situation is very much different for other indices when we're speaking of, especially for the S&P 500 index, which is continuously making its new record highs, and same similarly for the Nasdaq 100 index as well, because the Nasdaq is also pushing to the upside and continuously making new record highs. Now, speaking of fundamentals, something that Steven Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, did say yesterday. He touched on the deadlock on the conversation about the second stimulus check, or the second stimulus aid package more specifically. Because remember, there have been several different conversations between the Democrats and Republicans, but so far these conversations haven't yielded any positive outcome. The market is expecting another second stimulus, and that second stimulus aid package could be the reason, or it could really fuel the rally even more, and really fill the tanks for the bulls to continue to push to the upside. But so far, Democrats and Republicans, they are still bickering about that aid package, and in the absence of that, Steven Mnuchin said yesterday that look, the US economy does need another stimulus package, and it is of urgent need, and in the absence of that, the recovery or the rebounds that we are seeing may not be that prominent. Now, on the vaccine front, some really positive news came out yesterday, because Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's the Director of Disease and Allergies over in the United States, he showed some optimism, and then his comments were that yes, if we continue to see these overwhelming trial data with respect to coronavirus vaccine, then a potential vaccine can be here before the deadline or before the anticipation. Now remember, Dr. Anthony, so far, he wasn't of the mind frame that yes, a vaccine can be here before the anticipation, especially before the end of this year. But now, this overwhelmingly trial data for the potential vaccine for coronavirus has changed his mind. And remember, it is the only thing which can really, in a real meaning, kickstart the economic activity. It is the vaccine. And if we do see the vaccine coming in, and that vaccine becomes a reality, sees the daylight, that can really kickstart the economic activity, not only in the United States, but also around the globe as well. So that is where the big focus is. So in short, the two catalysts for the markets in terms of a bigger picture to continue to move to the upside are, first of all, it is your vaccine, and secondly, it is about the second stimulus aid package. But in the short run, it is more about the economic data, especially today's ADP unemployment number, which is going to set the tone for Friday's US NFP data. Because remember, there's nothing more important than the US NFP numbers. And if the US NFP number confirms that yes, the labor market is improving, what is that going to do with the entire stock market? Of course, it is going to amplify that optimism among investors, and they will continue to push the stock market higher. And that is where the focus is. Now, in terms of a commodity space, in commodity markets, and I'm specifically talking about crude because the crude inventory oil data is due today, the expectations are for another drawdown today. And if we see another drawdown, that means crude oil prices can continue to move to the upside. They are already trading at $43. That is a remarkable comeback if we compare these prices to when they were trading in negative territory, perhaps the only once a lifetime event that happened and may not happen, at least in my lifetime. And from here onwards, with more drawdowns on the crude inventory data, less supply and a stronger demand, these are the factors which can really support both crude and Brent oil prices from here onwards. That's all for today, and I'll see you guys next time.